In the late 6th century, Kanchipuram stood as the wealthy, secure epicenter of the Pallava dynasty, the dominant power in South India. King Mahendravarman I ruled this empire not as a traditional warlord, but as a poet and musician. He composed Sanskrit plays and studied music under the master Rudracharya, earning a reputation as a versatile intellectual rather than a conqueror. His most enduring contribution was architectural. He pioneered the technique of excavating entire shrines directly into the solid granite cliff faces of the region, creating the first rock-cut temples in South India. However, this focus on cultural development left the Pallava military borders vulnerable. A rival power to the north soon recognized that this obsession with art came at the expense of fortification. The Chalukyas of Badami, led by the expansionist Pullavas II, began a rapid march south, systematically seizing territory as it approached the Pallava heartland. The two forces met at the Battle of Pullalur, near the capital. The scholar king's forces were decimated, suffering a defeat so thorough that Pullavas II nearly reached the gates of Kanchipuram. To save his capital, Mahendravarman was forced to buy peace. He ceded his northern provinces to the Chalukyas, effectively surrendering a massive portion of his empire to his rival. Mahendravarman died shortly after this surrender. He left his heir a fractured kingdom and the burden of a humiliation that had yet to be answered. The new king, Narasimhavarman I, was defined by a sharp break from his father's pacifism. He inherited a court that had been humbled by the Chalukyas, and he made it clear he would not seek peace through treaties. He took the title Mamala, meaning the great wrestler. It was a public declaration that the Pallava dynasty was abandoning the scholar's pen for the warrior's grip. This new identity shaped every decision of his early reign. He restructured the army and focused his resources on a single objective, reclaiming the territory and the honor lost at Pullalur. Narasimhavarman did not just defend his borders, he launched a massive counteroffensive, taking the war directly into Chalukya territory. In 642 CE, the two dynasties met again at the Battle of Manimangalam. The Pallavas crushed the opposing forces, finally defeating Pullavas II on the field. Narasimhavarman followed the retreating survivors north. His army pushed deep into the enemy heartland, marching hundreds of miles toward the Chalukya capital of Vatapi. They reached Vatapi, an imposing rock-cut stronghold. Narasimhavarman's forces breached the impregnable city and sacked it, killing Pullavas II in the middle of the conquest. By taking the title Vatapi Konda, the conqueror of Vatapi, Narasimhavarman formalized his revenge. But this destruction ensured that the Chalukyas would spend the next several generations waiting for their chance to strike back. Over the next several decades, the Chalukyas focused their entire military infrastructure on rebuilding their strength for one purpose: avenging the sack of their capital. A new king, Vikramaditya II, rose to the Chalukya throne. He mirrored the path of the great wrestler, marching an army south with the intent to finally dismantle the Pallava power. The Chalukya invasion was relentless. They defeated and killed the Pallava king, Paramesvaravardhan II, shattering the defensive lines that had protected the southern provinces for years. Vikramaditya II achieved what his predecessors could not. His army breached the walls of Kanchipuram and captured the Pallava capital, bringing the war of vengeance full circle. With Kanchipuram under his control, Vikramaditya II had the military force and the historical motive to burn the city to the ground, just as the Pallavas had done to Vatapi. However, history took a turn when the king reached the Kailasanatha temple. Looking at the massive stone towers and intricate carvings, the conquering king was wonderstruck by the architectural majesty of the site. Instead of destroying the city, Vikramaditya II chose to spare it. He asserted his political victory, but recognized the cultural achievement of his enemies, leaving the city's monuments intact. It was a brief moment of restraint in a century of warfare. These dynastic conflicts proved that in South India, every final victory was usually just the catalyst for the next generation's search for revenge.